All right, guys, so we are going to learn how to apply a vinyl sticker. So if you see, this has been cut out in black vinyl. All right, so what we are going to do is we are going to start trying to peel um, the general shape off. All right, so good practice when you're peeling is try to peel as close to the actual sticker material as possible. So notice how I'm pulling along it. I'm not pulling out. All right, I'm pulling along. Okay, so that was a good job. Now I'm going to clean up my stuff. Notice how I'm not sticking it to the table, because what'll happen is it'll actually stick and it'll be a pain to get out. Now, this tool right here is going to be useful to get the more detailed stuff. Typically, this tool has a blade on one end. So when you're doing this, you want to have a cap on the blade so you're not going to stab yourself. And then you're going to go through and you're going to try to weed the individual parts. So take your time, work your way through. All right, I'm typically going for the easier stuff first. And now I'm going to go for the slightly more challenging one right here. So if it starts to pull a little bit more, you have to hold it down. All right, and remember, try to pull along the surface as much as you can. Something like that. All right. So then we're going to pull the inside of the letter. Okay, sometimes you have to go at it with a couple different ways. Take your time, all right? It's much better to take a little time on it and have a good final product than rush through it and just have to redo it, all right? So there's that. And then we have this one. All right, so once you have removed all the material that you want to, all right, so it is going to look something like this. Then what I'm going to do is switch so that now the cap is on the back, and I am going to, using proper knife safety, I am going to cut this down to size a little bit and try to make a nice straight cut. All right, so even a little bit more. So I'm left with this. So we have that and that. Now I am going to take some transfer tape that looks like this, and I am going to apply it to the surface. I am deliberately finding some transfer tape that is not the exact same size so that I can show you how to double it up. All right, so we're going to take one of these. All right, so do you see how I kind of applied it like this? Push it down. All right, so typically we will use a squeegee for this, one of those plastic squeegees, but pretty much any plastic kind of surface will work. All right, so there's other things that will work, but if you have squeegees, use a squeegee. And then I'm going to do one more layer on here. Okay, then I'm going to cut it off. Okay, so we're left with this. All right, so we're almost ready to prepare it. So last but not least, what I do is I cut off the excess material right here so that this is ready to apply to a surface. All right, so this is where if you were going to take this somewhere, this would be transportable. You do not want to pull off the back surface until you are exactly ready to apply it to something. All right. So now you are going to decide what you're going to apply it to. It should be something that you own, whether it's a folder or if you own a Chromebook or something like that, you can apply it to that. For me, I am going to apply it to this computer. All right. So you will not apply it to your own computer, but you are going to do this. Now, some important things to make a note of is make sure that it's not crooked. All right. So make sure you know where it's going to go. Test it out like that. Then we will flip over the material. All right. This is very important. You are going to pull off the backing and you want to make sure it is along the surface as much as possible. I'm pressing down on this surface so that it gets transferred to the transfer tape. Do not pull up like this. It will not work. All right, so push down on it like that. So now we have this, and we are now going to apply this to the surface. Now, this you will not be able to see very well, so I'm actually going to do it on a different surface because that's not very good. You know what? For our purposes, I'm just going to apply it right here. So I'm going to apply it to a cutting mat. All right, so I am going to push it down onto here. This is where you should use a squeegee if you have one available, or any kind of flat, like you could use a marker if you needed to, something like that. So you push it down very nicely, and then finally you are going to remove the top like this. I'm pulling it across. So you know whether you did it well. If it's no bubbles, if it sticks all the way around, there's no little hiccups anywhere, and it is properly aligned.